Hi everyone. So the game name is Outcry, and let's go. It seems like game sound doesn't go to the stream. I need to check this. Ah, it's epic fail. Hmm. All right. So checking sound. I can select the game as a source of the audio, but this is not what I want. That's weird. Let's try again. Oh, now it worked. So let's pretend nothing was just now. Nothing was happening, and I will start game again. Oh, nice. It has sound now.
Dear brother, we have not seen each other for ages. I hope you have not forgotten my existence. In these decisive days I am writing to you, for you are more than a next of kin. You are the most intimate friend of mine. You must come and visit my place to behold and feel with your own eyes the things that were beyond comprehension not long ago. You will be as shocked as I was for the first time. The essence of the problem is the tuning of the inner frequency. They did not know this for sure. Imagine what great sources for your new book you will find in this. The work of my life is done now. The major experiment that opens new horizons for the human perception. In these particular days, I need your presence more than ever. I am sending this message by express mail. Please find a way to come as soon as possible. I will give you all the details upon your arrival.
I meet you with an unpleasant piece of news. Yesterday, between 7 and 8 o'clock, your brother suddenly, not answered the phone calls for a long time. Suddenly, you will be announced. Take the keys to the apartments. It is an irreparable loss. He badly wanted to see you.
The year is 1916. Railroad worker in uniform. Nice bike. Old-fashioned photographs are a little uh, creepy. In spite of your refusal, we are repeatedly making the request to receive our journalist at your place for coverage of details of you, maybe your sensational discovery. Readers of Sunday Bulletin are looking forward to the results of your experiments. Your second refusal will put in doubt the reliability of the news that will play a great role for your reputation as a researcher. We are waiting impatiently for your answer. What is this? Caucasia.
Understanding that I will never return. Thus, if you are listening to this record, this means that I have left this world. So far, I've managed to get there only for a short period. Often the return was an anguished procedure, and I swore off to plunge anymore. Nevertheless, it is impossible to withstand the curiosity of a pioneer explorer. And what is more important, it seems like I am a hostage of the machine. Human language cannot portray that place. It is attractive and frightening at the same time. There are heart-dear places, but at the same time, the atmosphere is alien to human beings. And after all, I believe those feelings are an essential part of us. I am warning you of attempts to repeat my experiment and ask you, as my brother, to make sure that my work will not receive publicity. Burn all the notes and destroy all the facilities except the capsule. It must be saved. Let it be just a piece of metal for you. I cannot tell you more. You are the only heir of my house and property according to my will. Furthermore, do not forget an important thing.
You can't forget what you don't know, right? Dear customer, Gibson and Sons company informs you that the ordered components for the steam engine boiler and an improved water pump are on sale now and will be delivered in 2 weeks. By tradition, Gibson and Sons give a 50-year warranty, probably for all the movable parts. Probably you will be interested in purchasing machinery which are in the same requisition as the steam boilers. Railway rolling stock with 3 twin axes and axial tempering bulky. Magnet balance wheel, Gibson sewing machine. Okay, some steampunk stuff. I don't know what is it exactly. Alexander Utkin, title of Nature and Psychoacoustic Phenomenon of Infrasound. Only one-page book. Sometimes in the west of seas, one may run across ghost ships floating with no crew, which disappeared by mystery or died on the vessel. All the sailors are diagnosed a case of death by instant heart attack. Recently, several submarines, the flagships of the technical progress, were reported missing in mysterious circumstances. What behind it all? Uneducated people would think of some supernatural forces involved, but in our era of high technology, scientists put forward an idea of infrasound vibrations generated in the sea during the storm. Infrasound embraces acoustic waves with the frequencies lower than 20 Hz. These waves are similar to sonic waves, but they extend below the limit of the human hearing. The lowest border of infrasound cannot be found. The latest research revealed infrasound in the natural sounds of winds, oceans, and forests, but the most powerful sources of infrasound are earthquakes and thunder rolls. The length of an infrasound wave is very big. It can amount to dozens of meters, which helps infrasound to permeate living tissue and cause vibrations of internals. As a result of experiments, scientists revealed that infrasound might influence mind and psychological state of brain. When influenced by the infrasound, one may feel awe of fear. It is considered that the 7 Hz infrasound is lethal for a human. Well, that's all definitely just a fiction for the plot. It's unscientific. Certain frequencies can resonate with the rhythms of internals, heart, lungs, and bowels. In spite of not being heard, infrasound can exert rather weird psychoacoustic influences, especially when its vibrations resonate with alpha and beta biorhythms of the brain. The participants of such experiments may have different hallucinations and visions, with aforesaid, we arrive at the conclusion that some allegedly haunted sites are mostly likely being the sources of infrasound vibrations. Figure 29. Typical infrasound frequencies of human internals. megalith. A dolmen is a type of megalithic construction made from natural coarse stone. Usually a dolmen consists of four upright stones standing next to each other and supporting a large flat horizontal capstone like a box. There is a round hole in the front standing stone. Sometimes there are stone plugs for these holes that can be found near dolmens. The rocks are made to measure, so there is no clearance. The lateral walls and the roof may overhang, forming a portal. The size of the dolmens all over the world is different, but the height to width aspect ratio is constant and equal to 1 to 1.6, similar to the ratio of dimensions of the human skull. The erection of the dolmens was a very hard task for the primitives and demanded participation of many people. Figure 7.1 Outward appearance of a dolmen early period. We do not know exactly what was the purpose of the dolmens, but some archaeologists believe that the dolmens were used as graves and patrimonial shrines. But archaeological finds inside the dolmens are very poor and belong to the later civilization. There is no scientific explanation why these monuments appeared in the different parts of the world about the same period. The fact that the construction became degraded with time is also very strange. The most ancient buildings are the most perfect in the constructions. Figure 7.2 Outward appearance of a dolmen, late period. Well, the late period dolmen has a crack. Finally, there is no clue how did the ancient builders choose the location for the dolmens. Scientists consider that the construction are situated on seismic focus and the rifts. The most eccentric scientists suggest the following hypothesis. Dolmens resonate at the frequency of infrasound due to the wind of seismic events. But if we agree with this statement, we must admit that ancient builders had a wide knowledge in physics on the level of recent developments, what conflicts to elementary logic. The version that the dolmens were used for meditations or shaman rituals related to separation of consciousness from the body seems fantastic as well. Therefore, we can state that modern science knows almost nothing about the dolmens, and we cannot expect any significant discoveries in this field in the nearest decades.
The 6th of June. I finished the assembling of the first 2 amplifiers. I calculated how many vacuum tubes I need. Peter, my second assistant, who takes part in the assembling process, has broken up some tubes today. I will need to borrow some money from Heller again because of my financial distress. When my visitors see the organophone, they start asking useless questions as if I'm giving music lessons. It will be reasonable to hide it behind the curtain. How primitive is their train of thought. The 9th of June. The work is in full swing. Steaming engine has become an object of my attention. It required a certain revision for powering the amplifiers from its power supply. It is positively impossible to use the town's power circuit. Unstable voltage and noises, those bloody noises. After all, it may be a big hazard. The 23rd of June. Some visitors from the university appeared, something concerning my grant. I had to hustle them out. I met Elizabeth at the front door. She told me that 2 old women who had lived above my apartment moved importunately yesterday. They were saying that the building had been cursed. When I asked what was this curse like, she said the old women complained about permanent anxiety, confusion, and migraines. I expressed in my opinion that in their old age, things may go even worse, but admitted to myself that recently I had turned on the organophone quite often, and it is the time to think about proper acoustic insulation. The 26th of June. I've recommenced my bicycle rides in the evening. I turn on the light in the greenhouse less frequently. I don't need to worry about the plants now. The 4th of July. Tonight, a diving bell was delivered. I went out to meet them. The weather was awful, a cloudburst with strong wind. Luckily, they managed to mount it up the stairs, and the doorway appeared to be wide enough. A person from the university called me. I missed my lecture. It was for the first time in my life. The 19th of July. It is still gloomy. The barometer is falling. I feel bloody ill, but I cannot put off my work. Paul and Peter helped me to install the oscillator. After short doubts, we decide to embed bars in the floor. Some books about ancient beliefs of the West Caucasus tribes were delivered, and a work of one English anthropologist who had been living there for 6 years. It is doubtful that I will find out anything new there. The 5th of August. It was clear from the very beginning that we must cool the amplifiers somehow. Overheating may lead to bad consequences, especially during the work of the capsule's oscillator. I have chosen water cooling at the moment. It's a safe and reasonably priced method. The valves may adjust the fall. All the amplifiers work hazard-free if the number of turns for each valve is 5222. The first canal is the primary one, so it demands the strongest head. The 14th of August. I sold some furniture and silverware. Peter told me in a considerate way that I look haggard. I cannot see this myself because there are no mirrors in the house anymore. The capsule is almost finished. I'm going to do an anticipatory test in a couple of weeks. The 27th of August. There is a miscalculation, I guess. I am nearly giving way to despair, at least 1 month of working for nothing. One of the amplifiers combusted. I've taken the Tutsin extract and come to my senses. The 3rd of September. Everything is in vain. The miscalculations are somewhere in the theoretic computations. To tell the truth, I am not sure that my project is perfect, but God is my witness. I have not attempted to make the construction cheap and simple. How could I trust those threadbare stones and unconvincing legends when many thousands of years had passed and many civilizations had come and gone? No, definitely no. The golden age of humankind passed. In our world, one's consciousness is doomed to be only a part of the medullary substance being cut by the surgeon's scalpel easily. The 6th of June.
So this device called organophone, but what it does. Oh wow, what just happened? There was a man in a chair. Old-fashioned cabinet, so sophisticated.
I met our parents on Tuesday. They looked just like they had been during our memorable ferry trip. There is no return. Our memory and experience are what make our very self. After every immersion, a small part of the personality stays there, meeting the memories of the past that begot it. Mother's eyes were looking at me again, and it was not just an empty image or the face from a photograph. I saw comprehension in her eyes and understood that she saw me as well. The separation process is out of control. It's too late to change anything when the scope of the things happening becomes clear. Inner conflicts materialize, archetypes overwhelm, and the ego drowns in an ocean of uncertainty. I remembered the kindness and care they had given us in our childhood. When I returned, I felt very irritated and even said God knows what to my housekeeper, a very nice old woman. Wherefore is this world without youth, without loving and close persons?
This because it just burned. So these tubes are water cooling. It's closed.
My experiments with Albertia in odorum. The 18th of August. I chewed the leaves and felt nothing but the bad taste. I will try to extract it with dissolvent. The 25th of August. I gradually changed the proportion of the solvents to get the more effective extract. I use alcohol and ether as solvents. In the beginning, the liquids do not mix and the border between them is clear. This allows controlling the proportions well. I keep recording all the effects, including the side ones, but till this very moment, I have noticed nothing but light dizziness the day after. The 1st of October. It is hard to explain, but the effect of dual personality, which is specific to Albertia, becomes phenomenal if I combine inhalation of fumes of the plant extract with the infrasound exposure in my capsule. It is difficult to find a more conclusive evidence for my theory. Anyway, it is necessary to be very careful in view of this factor. An isolated intake of the Albertia extract causes slower intoxication. It leads to immobilization and occasionally to incoherent visions, sort of febrile delirium. It is quite difficult to remember even general details of the visions in a few hours. My experiments with Albertia in odorum. Dolmens. I have been thinking about the mystery of the dolmens for many years. We know nothing about its builders, their beliefs, and their way of living. Scientists used to think that these stone structures were patrimonial interments, but it was a big mistake, for remains were found only in several dolmens, and probably those had been put there by latter inhabitants hundreds of years after the construction. My theory is the result of studying strict regularities of the construction of every dolmen. The discoveries suggest that the dolmen builders belong to a highly developed and pragmatic culture, alien to barbaric and primitive traditions of that time. Their complete disappearance is one of the greatest mysteries. There are neither evidences of wars nor natural disasters, as if they died at once of a mysterious disease, or just dissolved into thin air. Once during a trip to Western Caucasia, I talked to an archaeologist who told me that there were remnants of Albertia in odorum plant on the antique potsherds found in the dolmens. It is quite a rare plant with small purple flowers. It grows in mountain areas which are difficult to access. I brought the abertia seeds home just in case and tried to couch them in my greenhouse. When I found the soil as dry as in the plant's natural aerial, it put down the roots. Meanwhile, I read in a botanical encyclopedia that the plant contains a substance which has a dissociative effect. In other words, it splits and separates connections between different parts of our mind. The usual interactions between memory, feelings, consciousness, and the ability to move become broken. The effect is really hard to imagine.
Botanical Encyclopedia. Ajuga reptans. Bagel Ajuga reptans, perennial herb with opposite leaves and long implanting shoots. Flowers are in verticilluster and at the end of the stem. Corolla is blue, light blue and purple with a half-grown galea. Height is 5 to 50 centimeters. It is endemic to the middle belt of Russia and Northern America. But this is not what we need. Alberia scentless. Albertia inodorum. Life form perennial herb. It is endemic to the mountains of North Caucasus, 2,000 meters above the sea level. It prefers tight, acid soil of the hard-to-get areas. The root is long, bold, lignified, pillosus at the end. The stalk is tall, up to 80 centimeters, with opposite petiolate or oblanceolate leaves along the full length. It has purple flowers with bilobate corolla, raceme blossom cluster. I don't know what all these botanical terms. It flowers from June till August. Seed capsule head divides in 4 loculars. Active agent albertophytin E, name according to the chemical nomenclature 2,2-methoxy-4,6-dehydro-4,6-A thiazidino-7,1-AB fluorine 11-YL-ethylamine. It is a phloem and can be extracted by organic polar solvents in the spherical condition. For humans and other mammalians, for doses up to 50 grams per kilogram, it may cause weakness, dizziness. For doses of 120 grams per kilogram, it can cause psychoactive effects as dissociation. So that's the plant that we need, apparently. And which is which of these plants are the one we need?
dolmen.
Oh, don't look. Uh-huh. We have a leaf. Yeah, Alberta in Naturu.
The 18th of October. As a result of my experiments, I have concluded that if we consider that the capsule is the gate to the shimmering world, then the agent received from Alberta is the key to the door. Reworking the capsule took a lot of time while dealing with the plant, but it was very simple. It requires 5 portions of alcohol and 3 portions of ether to get the extract. The 6th of November. I have been experiencing a very strange side effect during the last days. I've started to remember my early childhood in its most minute detail, especially that tragic episode which I wish to erase from my memory. But my mind replays it over and over again. It is unbearable. Nota bene, the second canal is totally blocked. It is necessary to supply the needed amount of liquid through the first canal. The 10th of September. The whole week has passed like one moment. Progressively, fewer students are visiting my lectures, but I do not care anymore. Looking through the books, the notes of the Englishman, utter nonsense as I thought beforehand, I found a very interesting fact. The courts, which the dolmens were built of, along with the specifics of the construction, allowed generating ultrasound as well as infrasound. It means that it is necessary to change the strength and character of the ripple, and it seems like I will need the 5th controller. Soon my expenses will be much greater than my income, but I do not want to think about that.
And the reading stopped. The 28th of September, I made a mistake in my previous...
The 28th of September.
Oh.
I made a mistake in my
just
previous
needed to
notes
wait.
concerning the cooling system in the cellar. It is demanded to gain the head of water in the 4th canal for 1 valve turnover at the expense of the same head reduction in the 2nd canal. The 8th of October. I have been carrying out experiments with the organophone during the last 2 days. All the windows are vibrating and the plaster peels off the ceiling. Peter, who is laying the lines, complained about paroxysms of panic, so I gave him the earplugs. Now I am sure that I have calculated the size of the capsule and its layout correctly. It means that the problem is in the acoustic pressure and the ripple. The 10th of October. It is a great day. I cannot believe in my success. Finally, I have managed to be there for a few seconds. I did not feel my physical body, but at the same time, I was aware of myself and everything around me. It is hard to believe, but I could move in that world. I guarantee that all I had seen was not a result of overexertion, but the work of my machine, which implemented the experience of the ancient civilizations. Also, the chemical effect of the plant should not be disregarded, but I do know it produces an absolutely different effect when isolated. I must hurry to the cellar and celebrate this occasion with a bottle of Chateau Bordeaux. The 12th of October. It appears to be even more extraordinary than I could imagine. I have started a new diary where I thoroughly record every detail of my presence in what I decided to call the shimmering world. The second trip was distinctly longer and lasted for 2.5 minutes. I insist now that it is possible not only to travel there, but also to interact with various objects. Sometimes it reminds me of our habitual world reflected in a distorting mirror and with dimmed colors. Experiments are ongoing. Last week I realized that the shimmering world exists under its own laws of time and space. Now it appears much more complex and deeper than it seemed before. I think this is the second day that I've spent without having a meal, but doing this would force me to go out, but that's the last thing I want to do. The 23rd of October. The slightest equipment malfunction can lead to the failure of the whole research. I scarcely have money for buying new parts. The latest innovation. I installed the control panel with the toggle switchers in the living room for more comfort and safety. I do not know when I'll have the occasion to write again. The journal takes too much precious time, which I rather dedicate to exploring the shimmering world.
He sounds like addict to the shimmering world. Well, there was no virtual reality goggles back then, so man invented his own, let's say, virtual reality chamber. So, wolves. Hmm.
The 6th of June. The 4th of July. Tonight, a diving bell was delivered. I went out to meet them. The 4th of July. Tonight, a diving. The 27th. The 10th of September.
Ah, I can skip his reading.
My experiments with Albertia in the 6th of June. The 6th of June.
So,
The 4th of July.
amplifiers
Tonight,
will
a diving bell
work
was
rather
delivered.
free in the
I
number
went
of
out to
tones
meet
for
them.
each.
The weather was
Wow,
awful.
with
A
5,
cloudburst
2,
with strong
2,
wind.
2.
Luckily, they managed to mount it up the stairs, and the doorway appeared to be wide enough. The 27th of August. The 10th of September. The 8th of October. I have been carrying out the 10th of September. The whole week has passed. The 8th of October. The 10th of September. The whole week. The 27th of. The 4th of July. The 27th. The 10th of September. The whole week has passed like one moment.
Ah,
The 10th of September. The whole week has passed
Let's
like
keep
one
him.
moment. Progressively, fewer students are visiting my lectures,
Okay.
but I do not care anymore. Looking through the books, the notes of the Englishman, utter nonsense as I thought beforehand, I found a very interesting fact. The courts, which the dolmens were built of, along with the specifics of the construction, allowed generating ultrasound as well as infrasound. It means that it is necessary to change the strength and character of the ripple, and it seems like I will need the 5th controller. Soon my expenses will be much greater than my income, but I do not want to think about that.
so I need to add one turn to 4th channel and reduce one turn 2nd channel.
The 8th of October. I have been carrying out experiments with the organophone during the last 2 days. All the windows are vibrating and the plant. Also, the chemical effect of the plant should not be disregarded, but I do know it produces. Experiments are ongoing. Last week I realized that the
So the initial setup is 5222, and which is the first one? Let's say this is first. So now it's 5222.
My experiments with Albertia. The 25th of August. I gradually changed the proportion of the solvents to get. The 1st of October. It is hard to explain, but the effect of dual personality, which is specific to it is quite different. The 18th of October. As a result of my experiments. The 6th of November. Nota bene, the 2nd canal is totally blocked. It is necessary to supply the needed amount of liquid through the 1st canal.
Okay. But I also need to decrease 2nd by 1. fourth by one, and then decrease second completely and increase. So this is how it should be. Sounds differently. It seems like this is the correct configuration. Is there something else here? Some barrel or tank? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I need to fix this. Mm-hmm.
Dolmens. I have been
So I turned this valve and what changed? Engine-like sound appeared. What is this? Some kind of generator? Okay, let's try to mix the stuff. So
My experiments. The 25th of the 1st of October. It is quite difficult. The 1st of October. It is quite difficult. The 18th of October. As a result of my experiments, I have concluded that if we consider that the capsule is the gate to the shimmering world, then the agent received from Albertia is the key.
3 portions of ether. And well, alcohol should be transparent. So this is alcohol. 1, 3, 4, 5, and 3 of ether, right?
My experiments with the 25th, the 1st of...
Just
it is quite difficult.
Double check.
The 18th of October.
I need also add this leaf. Okay. Inhaler. What else? Oh, no, now it's working. Nice. What do I need to do? Doesn't seem right. Am I misclicking or this doesn't go here? That's weird. fuse. Of course, it's fuse I need to replace of the inhaler. Well, obviously. Five digits. Here's 5 digits. So it's 2, 5, 7, 5, 4. 2, 5, 7, 5, 4. Alright, let's go. Something wrong. It doesn't work. Let's go. Radio still works. Nice. Even in upside down world, radio working. Well, it's not upside down world. How he calls it?
The 6th of June,
The
the 4th of
shimmering.
the 20th,
Yeah, I
the 10th
remember.
of September.
Shimmering world.
My experiment, the 25th, the 1st of October. It is quite the 18th of October.
A shimmering world.
As a result of my
Some new books. Oh. Alright. Science is constantly searching new approaches for understanding the mechanism of human's mentality. The newest theory of deep psychology offered by young Dr. Freud describes the human Sigmund Freud describes the human not as a sentinel being who is aware of its behavior, but a being who is in constant inner conflict, which has its roots in much deeper psychic area, in the area of unconsciousness, behind the distinct and clear ideas and images. Dark and twisted visions of dreams and hallucinations, symbolic reflections of instinctive yearnings are hidden. In accordance with the theory, we can see direct analogies of dreams, child yearnings, neuroses, and works of art. In his works, Freud insists that there is hidden language of symbols of unconsciousness, which can be translated into the language of conscious. The follower of Freud, Jung, Carl Gustav Jung, supposes that the source of unconscious image is in ancient times in the early stages of evolution. At the same time, Jung emphasizes the levels of unconscious, individually unconscious, that consist of experience, remembrance, and aspirations, and hidden level of collective unconscious that amalgamates the exercises experience of past generations which a human is not even conjectured about. The basis of collective unconscious is archetypes, inherent physics images that form the common symbolism of dreams, myth, and legends of nations. Archetypes are usually connected with the sign events of life as birth and death, solitude, impressions of the early childhood, as well as mortal danger and mental disorder reactions. One of the most striking archetypes is shadow, the dark side of self. Shadows is the aggregate of all the immoral, forbidden, and unacceptable wishes and deeds, and it plays a leading role in the forming of depressions and neuroses. Today, studies of paranoid illusions, trance states, and child dreams are carried out in order to confirm this theory. Why only child dreams? Why not adult dreams as well? Hypnosis is often used when working with such patients. The derivable series of fancier opens the world of unconscious and gives rich, picturesque material, yet this method may be rather dangerous as long as it can drive the patient too far from reality. Screwdriver? Nice. Wow. That's a view. What is this book? Just text. No book name. As a result of long-term analysis of patients who survived apparent death or coma, there is a distinctive pattern in the description of obtained experience. First of all, it is a state of levitation, i.e. separation of the body, providing spiritualistic and religious trip. According to the descriptions, while being in the state of levitation, a dying man leaves his body for the place which can be called afterlife. We don't have much information about this place. Another image that only may see is a motion through a light tunnel meeting the deceased relatives. Flittering images of the past life in various auditions. Skeptics call this phenomenon hallucinations caused by anaxemia and dying brain functions, while spiritualists adduce those as the proofs of life after death. As it was mentioned above, the descriptions are noteworthy for its repetition and patiency and have no fixation to age, religion, and social factor on the grounds of what is it getting harder for the learned society to ignore the phenomenal occurrences of near-death experiences. However, we must admit that in the present time, scientists don't have conventional abilities for studying given emotional experience in full measure, neither for simulation of the afterlife state. In-depth study of brains of the patients who died after a time after their return didn't show any visual changes or pathology. All we have is a theory, medical supervision of patients, inquiries, and statistics that may help to reveal some regularities that passed unnoticed. The findings give us a fresh look at the mediums, the people who are able to communicate with the deceased. It is significant that the father's research is complicated by the fact that many patients with the apparent death experience appear to have signs of depersonalization, restraint, and depression.
The 4th of November. I feel that it is waiting for me. Everything I have been doing in my life got imprinted in the gleaming world in some way. Now it gives me the chance to experience all the happy moments over again and correct all the things I want to change. I need to raise the dose and gain the head of water in order to prolong the trip. Maybe that world is the matrix for our reality. My discovery will turn the scientific world upside down. The 11th of November. It is very hard to write. I am confused and depressed. The shimmering world showed me its new, frightening hypostasis. From the very beginning, I felt the irrational fright. I needed to run away, but I felt as if I had stuck in time. And one of the episodes repeated over and over again. I was robbed of my strength, but I managed to leave the capsule by a miracle. A new trouble appeared in my life. I received a notice that my financial situation is extremely poor. Why does this happen when I am almost done with all the needed material and ready to inform the world about my revolutionary discovery? The 1st of December. There is no other reality. It is just a dream. The house is a dream, and this diary is part of the dream too. It is a strange conglomeration of meaningless words. It is impossible to construct this kind of machine here. Only a somnolent mind could give a birth to such a trivial and linear world. It is a place where all the things are being ruined gradually and dying. How should it be? There is no answer here. I do not understand how any discovery can change the world. Appreciation, love, and money are only illusions, and our self is just a sequence of the memories. What has been happening to me all this time? At first, I did not realize that I could not leave the shimmering world in the usual way. How long have I been here? Has it been days, months, or probably years? To have at least a rough idea of time, I date my notes according to the meridian-moving fragments of architectural abstractions.
Alright, Fragment 3. The control of gravitation and the course of time help to get to the places previously inaccessible. I have managed to improve some of those facilities. It looks like I am solving a puzzle created by the Supreme Mind. I feel that somebody is lurking constantly in the darkness, and I know this person, but I cannot remember his name. Fragment 7. This place is in an utter desertion now, but yesterday it looked different. All my actions in that time had inevitably influenced the present. Sometimes the distortion of the time flow reconstructs the events that took place in my childhood. Then I relive the fragments of my life as a spectator who is unable to change anything.
Fragment 3. The control of gravitation and the course of time help to get to the places previously inaccessible. I have managed to improve some of those facilities. It looks like I am solving a puzzle created by the Supreme Mind. I feel that somebody is lurking constantly in the darkness, and I know this person, but I cannot remember his name. Fragment 7. This place is in an utter desertion now, but yesterday it looked different. All my actions in that time had inevitably influenced the present. Sometimes the distortion of the time flow reconstructs the events that took place in my childhood. Then I relive the fragments of my life as a spectator who is unable to change anything. Fragment 11. I can hardly control myself. The past oppresses me. It seems that I start to drown in it and lose orientation in time and space. I cannot bear this bright white light. I feel yearning and impotence, as if the light keeps a horrible secret. I have to get rid of this time key as soon as possible. I will disassemble it and hide pieces as far as possible. Fragment 4. I don't know who took my diary and wrote some notes in it. Whoever it was, I would like to know what was his intent. Fragment 2. There is only one chance to leave this world. The chance is so elusive that it can happen only with one born under the lucky star. There are no stars here, though. Fragment 22. Danger! Do not look into the darkness. Do not listen to the roaring of the wind.
All right. And do not run with scissors, of course. Well, I have a screwdriver. What can we do? Much. Tempus, Edax, Ram. Deal. Time key. All right. So I need 4 parts. Okay, so these are valves, remote control for valves. It seems like, at least. So it's 5. Only 4 position each. Alright, this is not the valves remote controller, something else.
The fourth of
So I need a rope.
the fourth
Can't go back from here, right? Yeah, broken. Alright. details of 3 parts of the time key. Can't open the door with a hammer or screwdriver, unfortunately. Okay, so these are positions of ladder or platforms. The third one is fine. I need to change first, second, and fourth. Let's make a right turn. Okay, first and third are fine. Need to fix second and fourth. And the fourth left. So I have all parts.
My good man, I'm glad to recommence our interrupted correspondence. I suppose the weather in your corner of the world is fine. I have a strong recommendation from the doctors to take a trip to a health resort this season. Thus, if it's all right, I hope we will meet very soon.
What
We
he's
will have a
talking
cup of
about.
tea at a lounge with a marvelous view. But am I the person to tell you about this? I can't resist the temptation of writing about my work. As far as I remember, you showed a keen interest in my project. In the past, 10 years ago, we ardently discussed a possibility of reconstruction of the megaliths, and you claimed that these were the sort of cells for pagan monks. In that time, the theory of that archaeological scoundrel was surprisingly popular in the scientific community. And where is that dominant influence now? It languishes in poverty at some district university chair.
Died Wheel, thanks for following.
Hermits? What nonsense! I guess he knows nothing about Fourier theorem. And yet my project, my life's work, is heading toward completion. I have incontrovertible evidence of psychoactive effects, slow waves, and unbelievable multiplicative effects under the influence of Albertia in odorum fume. I wish you could see all the devices located in my apartment, as I am catastrophically short of knowledge in neurophysiology. Dear friend, may I ask of you a little favor? Try to find in your book depository the second volume of Archaeological Dig at Foothills. I am interested in the first edition, which has no corrections. My address is the same, with my best wishes for you and your wife.
What is this?
My good man, I'm glad to recommence our interrupted correspondence. I suppose... Nota bene. The 6th of June, the 4th of July, the 20th, the 10th of, the 8th of October. Also, experiments, the 4th of, I do not, fragment. My good hermits.
This letter
My
doesn't
good
make any
man,
sense.
I'm glad to recommence our interrupted correspondence. I suppose the weather in your corner of the world is fine. I have a strong recommendation from the doctors to take a trip to a health resort this season. Thus, if it's all right, I hope we will meet very soon.
Well, alright. What left is to reach the special device. With a stick. Oh, I can do it. I can't. Of course, I need to make a hook. Nice. Detail. All right, so first, and this one into this one. Next, this one. This for this. All right. Time key. Nice. And what now? All right. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. See you next time.